Okay, so I'm going to try to show you how to enter your information into your lists, into L1 and L2, in order to calculate your standard deviation. It'll also show you your mean, your median, Q1, Q2, all sorts of good stuff that you need for statistics in general. Okay, so in order to get into your list, you're going to hit the stat key, which I don't know, I'll give you a second to find it. It's if you look up at the top row where zoom is and go straight down that column, it's the third button down. And then we want to edit our list, which is going to be option number 1, which is automatically highlighted. So you're going to hit enter. Okay, and then what I did, I took a minute already and I learned how not to erase the data. So I entered straight down L1 and L2. L1 is all my Wendy's wait times, and straight down L2 is all of my McDonald's wait times. Okay, so again, take a second, pause, enter all that. There's 60 numbers, so it's going to take a second. And when you get to the end, first of all, when you get to the end of L1 and you want to go to the top of L2, all you have to do is press the right hand arrow key, and it should bring you up to the top to L2 to spot number 1. And then go straight down. Make sure you're in spot number 1 in L2 to start entering your data, and then enter all your data. And when you get down to your 30th value in L2, make sure you hit enter after that value to make sure the calculator sucks that value in. Once all of your information is in L1 and L2, now we want to calculate the standard deviation. Your calculator can only do one list at a time. So I'm going to concentrate on Wendy's first. I'm going to concentrate on L1 first. So you're going back into stat. And then now you need to go over to calculate. So you're going to hit the right hand arrow key to highlight calculate. And we want option number 1, which is one variable statistics, which is what we're talking about here. And hit enter. Okay. If you have a TI-83, you're not going to need to tell it where to look. It's automatically going to look in L1. If you have an 84 or the CE, you might have to tell it to look in L1. L1 is above the number 1 in blue, so you might have to hit second and then L1. Okay, and once you do that, you don't need a frequency list or anything like that. You're just going to hit enter. And this list that is on the right-hand side of my screen is what should come up on your screen. Okay, so I'm going to go through. I can't write on this screen on the iPad, but I'm going to go through the top and the bottom and just explain what everything is in this list. The X with the bar is your mean. And if you scroll through your notes from the beginning of this section, we found the mean wait time already, and it was 1.39. And now you can see X with the bar is 1.39. The one underneath that, the sigma with the X, that's the sum of your X values. So if you took all 30 values and added them together, which again, you should have written down from back in the beginning, is 41.72. Sigma with the X squared, the sum of X squared. Literally all they did was took 41.72, squared it, and got to 73.832. The S with the X, that is your sample standard deviation, and that is exactly what we wanted to find. So if you look back or at your notes from what we have written down from the Wendy's wait time, we had 0.738, which is exactly what's here. Then underneath that, the sigma with the X, that is our population deviation, which in this case would be 0.72602540551. And here's one way that you can check yourself. N equals 30. That's the number of entries that you made. So if that doesn't say 30, that means that you entered something wrong. Your minimum value that you entered into those 30 numbers was 0.35. Your first quartile, which we're going to eventually talk about, is 0.93. Your median is 1.2, your third quartile is 1.69, and your maximum value is 1.399. Something about that median, and this is what I kept trying to say in the last section that I kept telling you I forgot. Your calculator does not need the information in order from smallest to largest to figure out the median. So you can just plug it in as you see it, and the calculator will figure it out for you. So there's our Wendy's wait time. Okay, so now I need to go back and I need to do, I'm just going to hit clear on this. I need to figure out the wait time, the sample standard deviation for McDonald's. Okay, so for McDonald's, that was in L2. Our information is already in L2. We're going to go back and hit stat. and go back over to calculate. So hit the right hand arrow button. And again, we want one variable statistics, but this time we need to change where the calculator is looking. My calculator right now is looking in L2. I need it to look in, it's looking in L1. I need it to look in L2. So I'm going to delete out that L2, that L1, good God. And now I'm going to get L2 in there. And L2 is above the number 2. So if you hit second and then the number 2, L2 will pop up. And now you can just hit your enter. You might have to do it a couple times again. And again, this would be the information for your McDonald's. And again, you can see your mean, you can see your sum, and that sample deviation, SX, is 1.264888, so on and so forth. Again, look back at your notes. We just wrote down the sample standard deviation was 1.265. That's exactly what that would round to. And underneath that, that's your population deviation. So S is sample, sigma's population. So you just need to keep clear which one's which. And again, you can scroll back and look at all your other information there. So I hope that video helps you getting that information into the calculator.